Alright. Alright, everyone. So, pretty much, I did some work more or less on Henya, and pretty much just the portrait is pretty much done. I can show you guys. Hang on. Yeah, this is it. The background is going to be done at a later date. But in the meantime, that is what I got. Yep. All of it is recorded, and the time-lapse is going to be on the way. But in the meantime, I'm going to be focusing on Kson. Okay. Okay, so let me just get past here. Okay. Okay. So I got what I need. So now, I suppose we can get to work. All right. And then, let me open this up again. I would say probably here's a good place. The neck. Something like that. I might change it. Let me see what I can dig up. Okay. I think the eyes are pretty simple to get across. Something like that. Although I think the something like that. Although, let me see. And make this a little smaller. Yeah. Now let me see how that looks on a mirror. So let's duplicate it. And flip it. Doesn't look too bad, I think. Shorten it a little. Bring in the liquefy tool. I think it looks a little better. Here, let me. I think that looks a little better as the placement. Yeah. Right. Now I just need to draw the rest. Alright. Oh, I see. That's yeah. Okay. I shot it a little too far, but hang on. Considering the angle, although I suppose yeah. Something like this. Something like that. Yeah. Not what I wanted. I'm gonna go by memory at this point, so let's see here. Now that I'm looking closer at the code, I realize, yeah, there's actually a lot more line work that it comes with codes. Helps that I don't have to, like, kind of guesswork it. I might have to redo that writing. I didn't show it, but yeah, this text right here, yeah, I did that by hand. I could have just looked up, I could have looked up a text to font because I wanted to copy this. I could have looked up a text to font, but, nah. Nah, I'd rather, like, do the calligraphy by hand as my own little detail. I might have to redo it, though. All things considered, that is just kind of a placement of where I wanted it to be. think in order for it to be somewhat understandable, probably have to... Okay, so I gotta leave this part. But everything up top, I think I gotta redraw. Something like that, actually. Something like that. Because this line here is a part of the... Essentially what it would be is on the coat, the sewn line to actually connect the part of the torso with the actual sleeve. And I think that has to be part of the coat, essentially like the wrinkles. Something like that. Although now that I'm looking at it, maybe I drew it too tight. The sleeve, that is, because, like, in the proportion of her actual, like, forearm and the coat, it's a lot bigger. So maybe... Here? It's gonna be baggy, so... I'm thinking... If she has her arm up, generally baggy clothing would drape. So it would seem more ideal to, I think, go like this. Something like that. It's not perfect, but yeah. Okay. There it is. That's a little better. Big poofy. Big and poofy. Okay. Maybe we should add more volume to it. Something like that. All right, let's remove the sketch just to double check. Hmm. Honestly, I think that might work for now. This one I'm not too sure about. I think I could make that a little better. That looks a little better. Yeah. Right. This detail. Let me see about it. Okay. Somewhere around between those two lines. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. See, the thing about it is, like, I think I got the general shape, but I think maybe, just maybe, the top half is muled is off, because the way this silhouette is striking. Like, here. Because it feels like what I'm trying to do is this. I want to go for this. Okay, that's a little too wide. Too narrow. Honestly, I think that's better. Okay, now for the hands. Oh, she sometimes wears fingerless. Or, no, sometimes she just wears gloves. Also, I kind of want to go with that more than just simple hands. Especially if she's carrying a weapon. Also, yeah, I didn't mention it, but I'm not going with the weapon that she has for a model. I'm going with a giant pair of scissors, which are based off of the rending scissors from Kill la Kill, yeah. The answer will become a lot more clearer when I actually finish the time lapse, but basically I'm turning this fight to the death into into something a little more of an in-joke. Yeah, so if she has gloves on, I don't think I have to worry about nails. That was the thing I was wondering with Henya's. As I was trying to go for like how the nails looked. Never drawn hands on this perspective, honestly. I think I got the right idea, but I really think I should... Oh, that's right. Oh. There we go. Here, let me pull up that other reference I had. The original was Huey Freeman. Let me see here. Oh, I see. So, let me pull this back. It's less... It's less going in continuous manner where it looks like she's breaking her fingers, and more so... Okay, I kind of see the thing here. Let me at least draw some guiding lines. There we go. Something like that. I want to follow this motion. Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely something like that. That's what I'm reaching for. I think the fingers are a little too bloated. Let me try this. Okay. I think we're getting closer to what I'm looking for. Hmm. Alright. I think I might expand the thumb a little more, and then I think I'll move on. The best I'm gonna get it for right now. I can add one little more detail. There we go. Might not necessarily be that. I might just go for a straight edge, honestly, but... Okay. Hold up, this is basically just a circle. Why am I bothering doing this by hand? Okay. 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 Guess I gotta kill time somehow. Might as well talk, right? So yeah, like the title said, the other day I got vaccinated. I was planning to do some like other stuff around, but my arms are like sore as hell, so I'm just kind of trying to take it easy until I'm back on that level. Other than that, my friend wanted me to play Nine Souls, which is a new game. I think it's like a cat roguelike, I think. I don't know. I wanted to try it out, but I'm not exactly in the current situation right now where I can like go ahead and buy whatever game I want, because I got to budget shit until further notice. Which is currently for right now, it's until at most I think next week. So yeah. But yeah, that's in the ballpark. Potentially I'll check out Nine Souls. Other than that, I have been talking quite a bit about certain, like, going back and playing certain gacha games and whatnot, like Punching Gray Raven. And not too long ago, like I think a couple days or so, I ended up doing one of their newer events, which was an event. That's about as best as I'm gonna get it for right now. It was an event that was, I do certain things like log in and play the game, right? And they give me a free like S rank voucher. And usually in some cases that would mean like, oh, I get like 1 out of like 4 or 5 or 6 units, right? For the most part, pretty much every unit that they've come out with is available for me to just grab. Almost every unit. And so I thought maybe either tomorrow or Friday in my timeline, maybe, just maybe, I boot up Punching Gray Raven live and demonstrate all the characters to anyone who's just like maybe want to play it or maybe on the fence, because like I've talked a bit about it, but I think me showing what the game is like would do a lot more to recommend people outside of me just saying what it is like. So I'm thinking, why not just make a stream where I demonstrate all like the S rank characters I can get my hands on or whatnot, and then by the end of it, actually use the voucher, because that voucher I got lasts for about, including the time that I got it, a little under 2 months, which is quite a bit of time. So I figure, why not make a stream, test out a bunch of different characters available, and at the end of the stream just make my choice on what character I want to pick. Because I got a number of characters in Punching Gray Raven, but I don't got all of them, mainly because I don't really got to worry about that. I got a bunch of characters and I just kind of got everything that I need. And yet, I still do like getting characters and like playing the game. So either tomorrow or Friday, I'm considering doing that. Don't know if I will, but I'm considering it. If I do, I'm not necessarily like, if there's anybody that comes in like, hey, why don't you just get this character for the meta and whatnot, it's like, I don't give a fuck about the meta for Punching Gray Raven. The game is just Devil May Cry, the gacha game, but honestly better than Devil May Cry, the gacha game. Oh yeah. Other than that, I finished off Kson Can't Communicate, the manga. It's a decent enough ending. Like, a lot of these series, a lot of these slice of life romance series, I just look at them like, it's not necessarily that I think that more so they just kind of need to end, as much as I think like they kind of do run their course. Like, a lot of what they focus on at some point just kind of feels like, all right, we're scraping, we're kind of scraping for ideas at this point. Is there anything we can like, is there anything else, or can we just like, can we just end the series? And a lot of the times at that point, it's not too long after that the series just ends. Like, I read the last arc of the story, and I'm just like, yeah, everything seems wrapped up pretty much fine. Is there really any need to continue going? And then the author announced that pretty much in 3 chapters they would be ending, and I was just like, yeah, that sounds about right. And the ending was fun. I mean, as far as, like, you know, as far as a series like Kson Can't Communicate can go, it was fun. I didn't mind the ending, honestly. Like, genuinely, I think it could have been significantly worse. But, and, you know, I think there are things, you know, they kind of left out a lot of details and whatnot, or, not details, but they left out a lot of, like, answers and whatnot for the future. But, relatively, for just, like, a high school rom-com and whatnot, I think it ended perfectly fine. It's a serviceable enough story. Although, since I am talking about it, I will say, yeah, the manga in particular is the reason why I can't necessarily enjoy the anime as much as I would want to. Like, don't get me wrong, the anime isn't bad. On the contrary, like, the animation, it's a really good anime. The big, like, thing, and I noticed a lot of people saying this, because I noticed people saying, it's like, oh man, like, the dub is, like, really bad, and Komi-san can't communicate because they just kind of say a lot of the jokes out loud and everything, and it's just like, I guess that's a good point, but at the same time, I just look at it and I'm like, I think the biggest problem I have with Komi-san Can't Communicate in terms of anime is that a lot of the jokes specific for the manga and everything that were told in the manga are retold with like one-to-one accuracy in a lot of ways with the actual, well, the actual anime compared to the manga. So I think there's just a lot of like unnecessary faithful renditions in the adaptation. Like like, for example, they have like white boxes and constantly have every joke in like almost every joke in subtitles, and it's like, that's, you know, for the manga that's fine because you're reading it, right? Like, you're already reading it, so it makes sense, like, they have all these different boxes and whatnot for that. But, you know, it's just like, for an anime where most of the time your intention is to watch it, it feels a little unnecessary. Because you spend a bunch of, like, I'll say kind of pointless time looking at just looking at just reading certain jokes in comparison to actually watching the show. That I just wonder, if you were to have, like, just remove some of those, like, extra jokes that are in subtitles, right? If you were to just remove them and have the show play as is, I seriously doubt you would have lost much of anything regarding the humor or the stories. That's like my biggest criticism with the Komi-san Can't Communicate anime, is that it feels, weirdly enough, too faithful. And, sometimes I think that, like, of course, being faithful is fine when it comes to an adaptation, but sometimes being too faithful, I think, can honestly shoot yourself in the foot regarding your adaptation. It's like if Fate's Stay Night, right, done by Studio Ufotable, was... Their idea of being faithful was just keeping it as a visual novel, and or at least keeping the quality as the same as a visual novel. It's like, it's nice, but we wouldn't really get the same level of animation or quality of the storytelling that you guys did for, like, Unlimited Blade Works, or even Apocrypha. Like, sometimes, with different mediums, you have to, like, that's the whole point of an adaptation. Sometimes people get that backwards, and I thought this too for a while, where a point of adaptation is to have a faithful release of a source material, but no. The point of an adaptation is to retell the story in a different medium, in a different format, and see what you can change and what you can keep. That's the whole point. And a bad adaptation, to me, either changes way too much or doesn't change anything at all. Like, when your adaptation changes so much that it feels so unlike the actual story, or at the very least doesn't feel like an effort to go into the same kind of themes or tie to the same kind of story that the original does, it does feel a little like, you're kind of butchering the original story. Killing the author's darlings, as Stephen King would put it. But if it's too much like the original source material, you risk everybody who be interested in the adaptation, You risk people not bothering with the actual source material. And granted, yeah, that can absolutely be up to, like, personal preference, and not everybody's like that, but at the same time, it's just like, if it's too much like the original source material, then what's the point? Inadvertently, that's kind of how I feel about The Way of the House Husband, because the creator of that didn't want it to be, if I recall correctly, he didn't want that to be a anime. He was against it because I think you lose a lot of the jokes, and a lot of the art gets lost in translation when it comes to adapting it into an anime. They compromised this by basically going, alright, we'll have quote-unquote animation, but we'll make the characters, like, just still portraits on popsicle sticks. And for as lazy as it looks, it's genuinely, like, the amount of I don't give a fuck in that animation is just funny in its own right. It's like watching, like, just it's like watching those like old puppet shows where they just have puppets just fighting one another, just bashing hands and everything. It just kind of reminds me of that. And I think above all else, it's just like, I think that in terms of being an anime is a really great way to consume Way of the House Husband. In the same vein, it's just like, I'm looking at, like, or I'm reading the actual manga, and it's just like, I'm sorry, I like the popsicle stick characters better. I like the puppet characters better. Oh, man. It's like, no offense to the author, but definitely, it's just like, sometimes some mediums just with what they do, it just feels so much better than the actual source material always. But then again, it's just like I said, you make your story way too similar to, if you make your story adaptation way too similar to the story, in my eyes, you risk, like, the source material not getting too much attention afterwards because just of how similar it is. But if you also make it, like a piss poor attempt at a story, you also risk losing people because they'll be convinced that, oh, this story that you made is just, it's like, the story that you made in the adaptation is just like, it just, compared to what is in the source material, it's just like I guess the source material kind of sucks. But if you have in my mind, it's just about, like, finding that balance. That's how I see it. Alright, so moving on to the hair. Okay.
受着幽默。Hold on right now it's street, I'm not gonna stop. You see butterfly dancing through the shiny rainbow. By the seas at my doorstep on the sunny sand. Just think you were dancing tonight, chasing all the light. 落下的脚印都抓住了其中色彩。闭上眼睛，好想听见鲸鱼的调侃，就当作今晚去过的海。Dancing tonight, chasing all the light。我是平凡说着自娱自乐的天才，以为麻木了的心跳突然变好快，会有幸运在等待给I'm waiting。城市的底座渐渐 fading out， 恢复了平日里的 Friday night， 享受着属于我的 dancing time。Dancing tonight, chasing all the light。黑色星光和霓虹灯是我的舞伴，不要担心舞的奇怪被别人围观，此刻喧嚣都在这节拍。Dancing tonight, chasing all the light。抱歉是坏人的麻烦都与我无关，手机铃声响了毫不犹豫的挂断，不会有人是例外， 'cause I'm dancing。
Alright. I think I'm gonna call it. There's a lot more work I need to do on this, but it's coming along. Considering the lack of detail, it's actually a lot more simpler. I mean, there is detail, but considering the lack of it I have to draw, it's gonna be, I think, a lot more simpler than what I was doing with Henya. So, I'll have to do some digging around, maybe get some more references and whatnot, but I should have this wrapped up relatively within, if I push, maybe the next week. Definitely this month, though. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I have a blue sky. I have Cara. You can. I have an Artstation for my portfolio. You can donate to me at ko-fi.com/theartsocialshow. If you want to check me out for like party games and whatnot, twitch.tv/cafeautumn. And yeah, if you want to see more streams like this and whatnot, feel free to subscribe here on YouTube. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Take care.